Hello there. Hi there. And thanks so much for joining me today on this amazing sunny day if you're listening to this live in beautiful Melbourne. Summer in Melbourne is pretty special, and I've just returned from a gorgeous 2 weeks down at the beach at one of my favourite places in the world. And I'm really excited to be here with you today. I just want to acknowledge you for being here because, you've shown up, and it's not always easy to actually do these things, and it's a step in the right direction, I promise you, and I'm really looking forward to the journey that we're going to go on today. So today I want to talk to you about self-leadership, but before I do that, I want to take you on a journey. The journey actually starts with one of the most important notions that you need to embrace when it comes to building your business, and that is embracing your personal brand. I want to take you on this path that I believe is paramount to the success of your business, of any business, my business, your business, any business out there. It looks like this. So firstly, what is your personal brand? You need to understand it, you need to define it, and you need to own it. But why do we do this, really? Today I'm going to give you a reason why, other than just tell you to do it. Then, as you all well know, we can't embrace our personal brand unless we can embrace the most important notion of self-love. Now, self-love, I bet there are some of you out there who have never actually thought about this as one of the most important things that we need to understand and embrace, and how it actually relates to building your business. Well, one of my most admired coaches, Julie Parker, reminded me of this recently. And I really want to fully support that it is absolutely vital for you to learn the importance of this. And if this is something that you're not so good at, because sometimes this is not always easy, then what can you actually do to overcome it? Because self-love will allow you to go to places in your business and, of course, your life that others can only dream about. Then what? What is the next level? Let me think about this. What is going to end in nothing but success for you in your business and your life? Well, embracing your personal brand and self-love, I want to keep going. And I want to talk to you today about self-leadership and why this is so critical if you want to keep moving forward, succeeding, and differentiating yourself in your business. Of course, the ultimate next part in your evolution is leadership of others. This doesn't actually come first, as many people might think it does. It comes after these first 3 steps, because only then can your leadership style in your business and your life be its most effective and you can shine your brightest. Because when it comes to leadership of others, if you're performing this to the best of your ability, if you're performing this role with authenticity, conviction, clarity, and compassion, you won't be able to keep people away from you in your business. So why am I going to talk to you about all of this? Because as a business owner, no matter what, you are in a leadership role. If you're a coach, for example, you're mobilizing the troops to perform to the best of their ability, to help them to get from where they are now to where they want to be. If you are a creative, you're making creative decisions every single day that can change people's lives. If you have a product-based business, you make leadership decisions every single day. If you're a business owner, you are a leader. There are no 2 ways about it. That's why this is all so important for you. So let's start at the beginning. Firstly, embracing your personal brand. Now, those of you who know me know that this is something that I'm really passionate about, branding. Of course, I come from a marketing background. You need to be good at this if you actually want to build a business. Embracing your personal brand means talking about your uniqueness, your one and only, admitting that you are special. Because I don't care who you are, there is no one else out there that is you. No one can offer exactly what you can at all. So, who was I going to be when I turned up here today? on this webinar? Was I going to pretend to be someone else that I know, like, and love, and think perhaps if I could just get on that webinar and be like them, perhaps if I could be like her and I could smile more on that webinar, if I could smile more when I'm speaking, then people would love me. Or perhaps if I had better shoes, that would be it. That would be brilliant. If I could just be like her and wear those rockin' high heels on stage, then that would be great. Or maybe if I could just ad-lib, if I could do TED Talk style every single time I got up on stage, that'd be brilliant. Then I'd be so wanted, liked, and loved. But of course, I'm not going to do that, am I? I'm going to show up here today as my one true self, because that is what I should do. Show up everywhere as your one true self. There is no public persona. You are not here to create a public persona. There is no such thing as creating something that is a completely different person in public for your potential clients and customers to what you are in private. So what's the point in building a personal brand, defining our core values, our brand characteristics, or what I like to call your single organizing idea? Someone used this term with me once, and it's always stuck with me because it is a great way to gel things together in your business. So of course it's about making sure all our key stakeholders are clear on what our brand vision is. But it's also just about solidifying our personal brand and being staunch in what we stand for and being committed just ourselves to being that person. It's amazing how much people can struggle with this process, actually speaking positively about themselves, because that's what you're doing. When you are your business, you are your brand. Your brand and your business brand, your personal brand and your business brand are intrinsically linked. They're not two different things. Don't shy away from this, because this is a really good thing. It's a good thing. It's very real and it's very inspiring for people to see. And it brings people closer to you if you are just being yourself. It's a really different process to what you have to go through when you're creating a big corporate brand from scratch, because really that's what you're doing. You're creating something. For us, when we are a small business owner or an entrepreneur, we are lucky that our personal brand is who we are. You need to take that and run with it. To break the back of this awkwardness, I often get my clients to first of all describe to me their brand as though it was their best friend. So this is keeping in mind, of course, that this is on a good day, not on a day when she's giving you the shits. So when we finish up today, one of the things I would love for you to do is to actually go away and write down a letter to someone that you're introducing your beautiful brand to, you're introducing your best friend to, and see how that helps, and see if that helps as all those words flow out onto the page. And then once you've done this, I want you to, as vulnerably as you can, translate this into a document that I call Brand Blueprint. Now, this is just simply my way of formally defining your core values and your characteristics so that you can communicate it clearly to anyone who has any kind of influence or impact on your brand. Your stakeholders, your brand guardians, that's your creatives, your web developers, your copywriters, your designers, your PR people, whoever it is, they need to know and they need to understand. This is very important. So I'm going to give you a really quick rundown on how to do this. First thing you need to do is to define the center circle, and I call these your core values. Yes, there are many different versions of this. This is just my version. Your core values are rock solid. No one can touch these babies. They rarely, if ever, change over time, much like your personal value, although of course we do all grow up and learn, so they can evolve slightly, but they are fairly solid. And in the outer circle is your characteristics. These are actually the personality of your brand. These do evolve and change over time, just as your business grows, the way that you grow and mature, and that's okay too. So we would reassess this process every 12 months or so. So to give you an example, my core values are honest, intuitive, innovative, smart, and thoughtful, and my characteristics are approachable, empathetic, reliable, generous, challenging in a good way, and fun. So you need to be proactive. You need to define your brand before it defines you, because if you don't do it, it will define itself, believe me, and that may or may not be what you want it to look like. So, embracing your personal brand allows you to be the leader that you are meant to be. A little word here on authenticity and being true to you. There are moments in our lives and our careers when it's entirely appropriate for us to evolve and change, and that what was authentic to our being 5 years ago is not actually right for now. So I've read a great article recently from the Harvard Business Review about the authenticity paradox and how it's this vigilant stance we can all fall into the trap of having at the moment, of remaining authentic, that can actually lead people to not moving forward and evolving the way that they should in their business and their life. Think about that. So the article suggests that being authentic doesn't mean that you can be held up to the light and people can see right through you. It's actually okay to draw a line in the sand about how much you share. Showing up doesn't mean standing completely naked and bare in front of everyone you meet. It doesn't mean that, so please don't think it does. I do love that word authentic. It's a beautiful word and it is all-encompassing, and many of my clients use this in their brand blueprint for good reason. Just be mindful of that authenticity paradox. The thing is, because we can, there's a very real proposition that I can relate to myself, that going against our natural inclinations can make us feel like imposters. So we tend to latch onto authenticity as an excuse for what's comfortable. Don't do that, because expansion of yourself, your business, and your life is in this space beyond comfortable. Don't let authenticity, in the end, be the thing that prevents your growth. Now, beautiful, beautiful self-love. This is where it gets really, really important to dive deep into those elements of ourselves that stop us from embracing this fully. Self-confidence, self-love, and self-belief. To build a business and embrace you and your personal brand, you have to go there. And that means being vulnerable. Brené Brown is actually onto something. It's not a fluke that her book, Daring Greatly, has sold millions of copies worldwide, or that she's one of the most sought-after speakers in the world, on the world stage right now. She's roaming the world reminding us that to be real is to be vulnerable, and that it is only when you're vulnerable that people can possibly know the real you. Think about that. Vulnerability equals connection. And when you have your own business, you need to connect with your people. This is what marketing is all about. Connection. This brilliant quote that I read recently speaks perfectly to this exact notion. Only presenting an idealized version of ourselves separates us from others. You have to keep it real. We all do. We already know that life is all about acceptance, accepting other people for the way they are and accepting the things that we cannot change. But I want you to accept the way that you are. Accept you, embrace you, and yes, amplify you. This beautiful, beautiful quote from Anita Moorjani. I believe that the greatest truths of the universe don't lie outside in the study of the stars and the planets. They lie deep within us, in the magnificence of our heart, mind, and soul. Until we understand what is within, we cannot understand what is without. How beautiful is that? Today I'm encouraging you to go further, to go deeper, to go higher in your business and in your life. More than branding you, more than loving you, and yes, more than amplifying you. I'm not just talking about being your own boss here. I want you to be a leader, and I want you to lead others. And I want you to lead you. This is more than just being your own boss and managing your time, to-do list, action plans, or accountability, although of course they are important, but to lead is so much more. To lead yourself is so much more than that. Before we can lead others, we need to be sure that we can lead ourselves. Take your brand, your true, authentic voice, and make it mean something. Because without taking this next step of leading yourself, there's not much point in doing any of the pre-work. There's not much point. You need to be able to take that step. So you need to embrace your personal brand. Loving you, self-love is so important and such a natural precursor to this conversation about self-leadership. Self-leadership. Oh my God, the most powerful piece of the puzzle. Because to be a great leader of others, we have to be a great leader of ourselves. So often we skip over this step. You know, I think that this is so, so relevant for anyone in any business, for coaches, for service-based businesses. The list is never ending, but we need for our clients to first understand and embrace self-leadership. Self-motivation and self-direction stem from self-leadership. And as we all learn sooner or later in our own business, if you can't do this, become this, your business is going nowhere fast. Let's talk about your strengths, not your weaknesses. Marcus Buckingham captures this beautifully in his book, in his Strengths Finders book. We're taught all our lives to work on our weaknesses and focus what we can't do and do it better. But why? We're all individuals. We all have strengths for a reason. You need to know yours. You need to follow yours, and you need to embrace yours and grow your strengths. Let's bring this back to a tangible example for you. Think about the internal dialogue that goes on in your head all the time. The way we talk to ourselves. Just think about it. Our self-talk is our relationship with ourselves, and it is how we affect our own behaviour. Really, really think about that. Think about if any of this rings true for you. I can't believe you didn't do that blog post today. You're so slack. I can't believe you said no to that speaking opportunity because you were scared. I cannot believe you think you can do what she can, what he can, what they can. Oh my God, I'm such a pig for stuffing that food in my face. I can't believe I didn't go for a run today. Far out, you are such a bitch for yelling at your boyfriend like that. No wonder he drives you mental. Geez, Mother of the Year moment, that one screaming at the kids in the front yard in front of the neighbours. Just imagine if we spoke to our friends, our family, our clients, or our customers like that. We never would, of course, but we should also never, ever speak to ourselves like that. Let's turn this on its head. Now, I wrote this a long time ago, and I've kept in brackets here this comment that I think is kind of hilarious and a really good reminder for me. I wrote, insert nice comments in brackets, because when I had to do this little bit of the examples of nice comments, didn't quite come as easily to me as rolling out all those other comments that are more negative. So I did come up with some. What if we spoke to ourselves like this instead? Well done you for getting through those client sessions today when you felt so average this morning. I deserve this glass of wine today because I have been going non-stop since the second my alarm went off. How good that you found that solution to your client's problem that was stressing you out so badly. You know what? I'm so impressed you had that conversation that you've been avoiding. How much better do you feel now? Self-leadership is also about the stories that we tell ourselves. Forget about the stories we tell ourselves. We need to forget about the bad stories that we tell ourselves. So many of us hold on to these stories and these beliefs from the past that we restrict ourselves, no one else, we restrict ourselves from creating opportunities and experiencing new things. Earlier this year, actually it's last year now, I must admit, I ran my first half marathon. This is a really, really big achievement for me. But I had once tried to train for a half marathon about 10 years ago, and I got such bad shin splints that I could barely walk. So what was the story I told myself about this? I once tried to train for a half marathon about 10 years ago, but I got really bad shin splints, so I can't do that. Really? Well, at the beginning of this year, last year, I finally called bullshit on that one. That was a story of mine, and I went ahead and I achieved this dream. No one else could have done that. No one could have made that change except for me. It was totally up to me. Now, I understand too that in many ways we are conditioned to look externally for a leader, when what we really need to do is find it within ourselves. Only then can we be a leader of others. And in this case, it's twofold. Firstly, for our clients, to help them get from where they are now to where they want to be. For our customers, so that we are creating exactly what they want, whatever that is. So the next reason, and I need to talk about this bluntly, is from a brand building perspective, from a marketing perspective. If we want to build a tribe of passionate, committed followers, they need to be able to see the leadership qualities in us, the natural leadership qualities in us. You know, self-leadership, of course, manifests itself in both behavioural and mental ways. Behavioural is fairly self-explanatory. So that's when we are writing our to-do lists and we're doing what we need to do, showing up every single day. But perhaps the trickier piece comes in the mental, the self-dialogue, the assumptions, the thought patterns, more and more. We need to be really mindful of this when we talk about self-leadership, really mindful. You know what? I believe that probably every single person that is listening to this webinar, in actual fact, already goes a long way to achieving this. But what I want to do here for you today is just bring this to your awareness to demonstrate to you how important it is, how much we need to embrace this as a huge part of the success of our businesses. Let's have a little look at one of those behavioural aspects that I was mentioning before, where I see my clients fall over again and again. Reward. Tell me, how often do you reward yourself in your business? When we work for someone else, we're in the constant feedback loop. Daily conversations, weekly projects completed, annual performance appraisals. But when we work for ourselves, that loop all but disappears. And with it, the rewards. I challenge my clients to do something each week as a reward for the work they have done. When they kick all their goals, some of their goals, even none of their goals, it doesn't matter. They are trying and they deserve to be rewarded. I've been guilty of this myself. In fact, I really struggled to feel that I actually deserved a reward in the beginning. And my business coach set me straight on this, and now I like to do this for others. Because I was thinking, well, that work I'm doing isn't actually having an effect on my bottom line. I've had to change my mindset on this one. Wow, did someone say mindset? We all know how much I love to talk about this. Naturally, these two concepts are very, very closely related. The right mindset is a huge part of developing your leadership skills. So whether you have a fixed mindset or you believe that you were born with your inherent ability and you cannot be anything more, or you have a growth mindset where you believe that you can work hard and learn to take your world to the next level, your self-leadership skills are wrapped up in this. Through enhancing your self-leadership skills, you'll be able to move forward with a growth mindset. And this is exactly what you need to do in business and in life. Now, this concept is from a book by Carol Dweck, and I encourage you to read it. If you are working with a growth mindset, you can think amazing expansion of your mind. Think about smashing blocks that are in your head. Think about exploring new ways to do things. Saying goodbye to a fixed mindset, a fixed set of beliefs. Think innovation, creativity, smarts. If your thought patterns are holding you back, they need to be gone. If you are unable to see yourself with everything that you desire, abundance, a steady flow of clients, booked out months in advance, products flying off the shelves, e-courses selling out, speaking at events, teaching people there is a better way. How can others see you that way? Self-leadership will take you there. Imagine that conversation that you would have with your best friend when they were building their business. Interest, love, support, care, compassion, energy, wanting them to succeed, believing in them, feeding them positivity when times are tough. This is exactly what you should be doing for you already. Just imagine the person that you are when you master the art of self-leadership. Imagine how other people will see you. Confident, sure, smart, compassionate, already there. Because if you can't see yourself in this space, then how can anyone else? And if they don't see you, their potential leader in this inspiring space, then they won't be attracted to you as their leader. They won't feel your strength. They won't feel the power that only you can possess if you are being a true leader to yourself. Let's look at the flip side of this. If marketing is about bringing people closer to you, in keeping with that sentiment, let's think about this on a personal level and then on a professional level. And I know that for some of you, that's the same. So I like to talk about these personal examples because sometimes they are a little bit easier for people to understand. Let's go with this one. You know the thought process around the only time you're going to get a new man is when you're in a good enough place yourself that actually you stop looking for one. What does this really mean? Well, I want to tell you a story that will help to articulate this. When I was 30 years old, I was loving life. High-flying corporate marketing career, party time with friends, loving every second of it. Deep into a mindfulness and meditation practice that had seen me experiencing out-of-body moments at many times and literally changing my life. I had grown through adversity. I'd experienced the trauma of my own divorce, and I had finally been cracked wide open, wide enough to look deep inside and see how I had created this on my own. The mindset shifts, the love, the newfound compassion that I had for myself, and the understanding that I was responsible and that no one else was to blame. I gradually started to feel like a whole new world was opening up to me. For some of you, this shift might happen earlier. I was 27 at the time. I just thank God in all seriousness that it happened to me at all. I mean, thank God I experienced this enlightenment when I did, when I still had time to become my own leader. I don't really think that I experienced an enlightenment. That's a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but I am very, very grateful for the experiences in my life that led me to take a good, long, hard look at myself. So coming out the other side of this, back to my turning 30 story, I was embracing everything I could, consciously or unconsciously, to be the best leader that I could be for myself. I literally did not need anyone to do this for me anymore. Now, of course, we all know that as an adult, I never needed this in the first place, but I finally knew. I finally felt sure about this, and I felt sure about myself. And then bang, there he was, pursuing me like nobody's business. And what was I doing and saying? No, I don't need this. I don't need to be with anyone right now. I am good on my own. So over a decade, 3 children, 2 houses and a wedding later, clearly he got the better of me. That's my version of the story anyway, and I'm sticking to it. Now, let's look at your work as a business owner. And I want to use the example of being a coach. When you're in that beautiful space that we all want to be in, working one-on-one with our ideal client, and why this makes us feel so good. Tony Robbins was asked in an interview once what he believed was the difference between people who experience great success in their business and people that don't. There were 2 main components that he said made all the difference: certainty and action. We all know that this is what creates momentum in your business. He said, and I completely agree with this, that in the beginning, we know that the potential is there. We know what we are capable of, but until we actually take action and make this happen and create that momentum, we can't see the results. But when we can see the results, we experience a certainty that creates belief. And it's this self-belief that is, of course, an essential self-leadership quality. Potential, action, results, belief. That's where that certainty comes from. And that is what will take you to success in your business and your life. You know, this is one of the reasons that I encourage my clients to keep doing pro bono work when they're starting out, because we've all done it and we'll all still do it at times, because it takes us into that space of knowing and doing and being what we want to know and do and be. And that applies to any business. Leading ourselves means knowing ourselves well enough to know what our strengths are, what our gifts are, what our uniqueness is and what our onlyness is. Knowing when we need help too. Knowing when we should collaborate. Knowing how to build the best possible support around us to complement us. Saying yes to the best opportunities and no to the bad decisions. Self-leadership. Because when you are certain about yourself, you are practicing self-leadership. We're reminded by Elizabeth Gilbert in Big Magic, the sooner and more passionately you get married to this idea that it is entirely up to you, the better off you'll be. And so imagine it. You, certain, believing, achieving, gaining momentum. Leading yourself every single day to new and breathtaking heights in your business. Just imagine how attractive you will be for your ideal clients. They'll be finding you, they'll be chasing you, they'll be waiting for you. They will be your fans, your advocates, and your tribe. And so where could we possibly go from this divine space in our business and our life? Well, of course, there's always more. Jack Welch says, before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is all about growing others. So far today, I've focused on growing yourself, and now I want to focus briefly on growing others. I want to say that you are all already leaders. If you are a business owner, already, no doubt, in many areas of your life, but certainly when you're performing the role of business owner. Your clients and your customers look to you to show them the way, just as you have looked to leaders and mentors all your life. It's still worth focusing on this again for you now. I've been super passionate about leadership for many years, particularly after experiencing the good, the bad, and the ugly that I have in the many different ways that I've worked. We all know what it's like to experience the difference of working with a true leader. As a leader, your role is to help people become better at doing what they're doing simply because you are part of their lives. This could be better in relationships. This could be better at creating a home that they love. This could be better at completing tasks, better at building a business, better at growing a team, better at getting fit, better at staying healthy, whatever that is, whatever it is. As a leader, Napoleon Bonaparte says, a leader is a dealer in hope. How beautiful and relevant is that to all of us as a business owner? Every single person listening here is absolutely a dealer in hope, no matter what your business is. A dealer in inspiration, a dealer in love, a dealer in faith, a dealer in better lives, a dealer in belief, empathy, the list goes on. By the very nature of owning your own business and creating a product or a service that you know people want, need, and love, you are being a leader for your clients. This gorgeous one from Sheryl Sandberg. Leadership is about making people better as a result of your presence and about making sure that impact lasts in your absence. Let's not forget that. We need to be sure as leaders that we don't fall into the trap of creating a reliance on us for people to achieve these great shifts. You think about that, because the great leaders that you will have experienced in your life leave you in a better position than when they found you, no matter what they do. It's so important that we are always sharing our knowledge, support, tools, resources, whatever it is, so that they too can master the art of self-leadership, because when they do, that is seriously powerful stuff. As leaders to those people in our tribe and our community, we embrace them, we challenge them, we give them what they need and what they want, we nurture them and we support them, and in the end, we let them go, just as every good parent has to. The greatest compliment that I've achieved from one of my clients recently was this: Kate has challenged me in ways that no one ever has. And it's this that has pushed me to be standing here in front of you today. This was just after she launched her first book. This was actually at the book launch. Because sometimes it can be easier to stay in that safe and warm and fuzzy space of comfort and knowing what we know, knowing what they know. But if we do that, we're not leading our clients to a better place anymore. We're just hanging out with them. To be a true leader is to help others see that there is more and to help them get themselves there with whatever we can provide that will help them do that. To be a true leader is one of the most special gifts that we can possess. Learn and embrace this as much as you can. We're all blessed in this online space to have access to amazing people from all over the world and even in our own backyard, and to have experienced the wonderful joy that emanates from those leaders in their fields, from those experts. And we've all witnessed what can happen when a leader opens their heart to the possibility of creating something new. In many, many examples around us. But don't stop at that. My challenge for you today is to go away and really acknowledge where you yourself can become a great leader. Who are those people that are waiting for you to show them the way? This doesn't have to be on a grand scale like all those big online names and personalities that we see, or offline. This can be on a small scale every single day. You think about that. There are moments in every day when we can practice true leadership skills. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I hope you've enjoyed this little journey that I've taken you on. I appreciate you being here. And I hope that now you can see that there is so much more beyond embracing your personal brand. Leadership deserves its own time and its own attention. And I will come back one day to talk to you about that. I could talk to you about it for hours. And everything I would say would be so important and relevant to you in building your business. So I just urge you to embrace the true nature of leadership. Beyond trying to affect others' behaviour, to actually trying to affect their feelings and emotions. Think about that. This last quote captures it beautifully for me. A leader takes people where they want to go. A great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go, but ought to be. My challenge to you today is to step into your power. This is what all of this means. Step into your power, the power that only you have to create a business and a life that you love. When you leave this webinar, I want you to take one action, just one action, one step today towards your better life, towards your better business and your better life. Now, as a special thank you to you, I am so passionate about my Amplify You, my group coaching mastermind. And I want as many people as possible to be part of this program, because I just want to share it with so many people, because I know that it is a powerful and unique combination that I'll be teaching you and taking you through. I'm actually going to open up access to the early bird price for 48 hours from now. It'll be available for the next 5 people who join, and I would adore having you on board for this. I can tell you now that this is a small and intimate group, and those of you that are smart enough to jump in will get so much attention from me, so much individual attention from me, that you will be blown away. So, just repeating, the early bird price of $1,500 is now open for another 48 hours only, and only for the next 5 people who sign up and join. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it hugely. I'm going to put up a little notice here just to be clear on what that early bird offer is for you. It will start as soon as we get off this call. Now, I really, really want you to know how much I appreciate you being here. I'm impressed that you've taken this action. I know it's not always easy, and I hope that what I've spoken about today has inspired you in the right way. And what I want for you now is to just have a brilliant day. And I really, really want you to have an absolutely brilliant year. Thank you so much for having me. See you later.